Hey, everybody. This is Full 42, bunch of geeks talking about geek stuff. We have a special guest today, Quackalope Jesse. How's it going?
Hello, thank you for having me. Going well.
How many times do you get the Mr. Anderson jokes?
Six a month. I count them.
6 a month. Wow. It's
weird because it's the same amount of times I talk with you a month. So there is a correlation there.
I won't lie, when he gave me your name to put on our thumbnail at first, I went, Mr. Anderson. I mean, you just have to. Right?
I actually think my dad, as a high school teacher, when The Matrix came out, got it way worse than I ever did. I got more of like the Jesse, spelled with an I, spelled with a Y, the Jessica, the weird kid, why don't we ever talk to him? I got all that stuff, The Mr. Anderson wasn't as apropos.
Jesse's Girl? You got to get that song a lot.
I get Jesse's Girl constantly. The worst part is I've grown to disdain that song, and now Shira sings it about herself. So I don't, I'm supposed to like it, but
that's great.
Everyone has something. Everyone has something, right?
Everyone has something. Yeah. So Chris already did the welcome thing. I'm super happy to have you on. It's been a couple months since we saw each other at PAX. You're one of my favorite people to talk to. I know you're always in chaos at shows because you're always running around. You're always doing something. But you are a blast to talk to. So hopefully everyone tonight gets a little snippet of what it's like to be around.
I appreciate that. We've had, over the last month and a half, I believe we've had, I want to say 11 guests through the studio. Alan, hello. And so the chaos that we exist in is that. But one of the reasons why I bring that up, Michael, is because I would like you to actually come visit at some point, Katia and Christian as well. The reality is I had someone come down and he was like, it's really hard to meet you at a convention. It was another content creator. He's like, it's really hard to meet you at a convention. I think I got 2 minutes of saying hello and then sprinting by. And then he was here for 3 days and we hung out. We played games. We had drinks. I'm able to focus on the thing that's in front of me, but everything else becomes a whirlwind and a blur. So at a convention, going from meeting to meeting and running until my wheels fall off is the thing that's in front of me. So
funny enough, you and I have been in groups of people talking many, many times, but have never said hi to each other until today. Really,
that is incredibly rude of me. I'm very sorry for that.
Same here. There's too much going on, right?
I was thinking that. I was thinking it was very rude of you as well, but I just didn't want to bring it up.
So the thing to do, for those that don't know, is you book Jesse for a half an hour and then don't talk about games. You talk about everything else for that half an hour. It gives you both a chance to breathe and sit down.
I only kind of like games, so if we want to sit, you actually have done that. I think 2 meetings now so far, we've talked more about life than we have about the game. And then at the end of that conversation, we shake hands and I say, oh, by the way, let me know whatever's coming out. I'm happy to be a part of it.
Yep. Yeah. And we're in a weird place because we're getting the product. Like we've had our old catalog. We have the new stuff rolling in and then all the stuff that 2023 is going to bring to tables. But we actually haven't had anything. Like I gave you the makeshift mission control that you talked about. And you've had stuff of Legend, but there hasn't really been anything yet to get to you, but that will change.
You'll have some big stuff coming out this next season. I'm excited about it.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he's had plenty to say about Andromeda's Edge, so I'm all happy about it.
Nothing honestly to say about Andromeda's Edge. Yeah, right. Not a bit.
So you did, I guess this is kind of jumping the gun a little bit, but you did the playthrough the day after we had Peter on and we all played through it live on our show. How did that go?
So the game is super fun. Andromeda's Edge, if I could speak, is a blast to play. I think the thing that I've learned by doing live streams, because we have this whole rig set up now where I have a foot pedal underneath the table. I've got 3 different camera angles I can switch between. So I've got a front camera on us, the audience. I have a top camera on the table itself. I have a close camera on the cards we're showing. It's close to the same thing that we do for the main channel. And I am really good at chaos. When I play a game on camera, it's my favorite environment to play a game because we have to move quick. Everyone's involved in the game. Like we just got done with Horseless Carriage in about 2 hours, right? Everyone was sitting there focused on moving the game forward and talking to the audience and engaging and being funny. I'm really good at playing games in that environment. when you throw in half of my brain focused on switching between camera angles at the same time, I'm focused on strategy, focused on rules, focused on talking to the audience, focused on everyone else at the table who doesn't have to worry about the production being entertaining and talking through their turns. My brain cannot focus on a game as complex as Andromeda's Edge. Everyone else had a really good, successful game. Peter texted me afterwards, and he was like, man, I'm not sure you know how to play that game at all. Like it just, my brain wasn't there. It's really hard to play games that complex.
Yeah, I couldn't. Sorry, Mike. I couldn't do that last week just because I can't focus on a game and do that stuff. So I was like, I'm just going to play camera guy and let you guys play. So I see that.
I like the little peek behind the curtain you gave. I tried to figure out how, because magically your cameras would shift, and I thought it was like editing afterwards. You have a foot pedal underneath the table.
So for live streams now, we have a foot pedal. We set that up because for Marvel United, Simon had asked specifically for us to go live with Travis being down here, and so normally we've done in the past pre-recorded and then premiered videos, but now we're set up to do live streams. The secret, the real valuable thing to that setup is for complex games like Frostpunk, for instance. We've actually been able to go behind the scenes and have the designers watch us play. And that means that they can pause us, they can correct rules, they can help us, move the game forward so that we're not stuck. Hi, Peter, Solid Quack. So that we're not stuck playing through a 3-hour session and then running into a rules mistake in the middle that changes the entire nature of the game. I don't think people take account of just how hard complex games are to play, let alone play accurately in front of bright lights in an uncomfortable position where you're not double checking the rule book, and when you're playing, 5 to 6 brand new games a week. All of us are kind of in this space. We all know that feeling of being put under pressure. And I'm not sure that I've ever played a game right ever since posting content online on the Quackalope channel. Even Connect 4, we had people leaving comments about how the strategy could have been more effective. And So at a certain point, you just look to have a little bit of fun.
Speaking of which, Mike, we've played Dice Miner on this game on this channel twice now. We've been playing it wrong. I just got the game and read the rules. So
yeah, rules are just suggestions anyway. So what did we play wrong?
We'll get into it later. It doesn't matter right now.
Okay.
Peter says Jesse doesn't play right, but he plays fun. I appreciate that.
That's playing right.
I love your game. That's what I'll say. You son of a gun.
It's about the fun. Like when we were playing last week, it's not about. There's a strategy behind each faction, and they do better under certain. Better brain. But if you're having fun doing it, then keep doing it, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Should we jump into? I'm about to have announcements ready, but we'll see in a minute. Should we jump into the lightning round real quick?
100%.
Sure.
All right, so we do a lightning round with our special guest here, and I'm saying these things very slowly because I'm looking for the thing to share. Here we go. So the lightning round is you're going to have this structure of questions. We don't know where you're going to go and what questions you're going to hit, but eventually down here, it's a very scientific method. You're going to end up with the knowledge that you are most like this fictional character.
If there's an option to answer dolphin at any point, I will commit to that answer right now.
I would have thought duck.
I'm a mysterious man.
Have you seen this show? Because there is a question with dolphin in it.
I haven't, but
okay.
I certainly hope I find it now.
I change out some of these. Yeah, you might pass it by. So let's see real quick. Okay, so first question. It's a real easy
one. Is this
one.
like a first thing, fantasy or sci-fi? Fantasy.
Right.
Both, technically, but
well, yeah.
Lord of the Rings or Star Wars? Lord of the Rings.
Ooh, that was quick.
Yeah.
I'm trying to go off gut. You
don't have to go too quick. You can give us some answers, but that's fine.
If you want me to extrapolate on any of them, I'm happy.
It is called lightning round, but that's only because we couldn't think of something better.
Always dance when you walk or sing when you talk. I am awkward in my own body and bad at singing. I will choose to torture other people over myself. Sing when I talk.
See, we're learning things.
Always sound like SpongeBob? No. Or everyone else sounds, oh, that's worse. I think, well, here's the problem. If everyone else sounded like SpongeBob, I would be the odd man out. In the same way that if I sounded like SpongeBob, I would also be the odd man out. I think I could monetize sounding like SpongeBob constantly better than I could being the weird voice who doesn't sound like a talking, yellow square. I'm going to go with always sound like SpongeBob.
Going with annoying people again.
And part of my brain immediately went to the, trying to get a solid laugh in there.
All right. Film noir or
horror? Horror. Even though Shira won't watch it with me, I like a good horror kick every now and then. I'll binge them alone and then I'll be scared for the rest of the night. Receive a hug from Voldemort. He's very, very cuddly. Or Emperor Palpatine. He's just kind of slimy. Voldemort, for sure.
So I think Voldemort's more slimier.
As long as you're on Voldemort's team, though, he's cool with you. Like Palpatine, he has no loyalty to anyone.
Agreed.
That's true. But Palpatine seems kind of dry-skinned.
You're hugging a robe at that point, though, right? You're not really hugging Palpatine.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't go cheek to cheek?
Oh,
come on, it's their Valentine's Day.
You might go a little cheek. Yeah, a little cheek to cheek.
It's their Valentine's Day. You get a little cheek
that
to
just
cheek.
made me sick. Thinking cheek to cheek.
No, you do the awkward ass out hug. That's it.
Oh yeah, like your waists don't touch type
yes,
of hug.
Correct.
Okay.
And your face doesn't touch either.
I think I would seek to bring Voldemort back a little bit though. Real embrace. Just give him the one thing he never had as a child.
Love.
Love. Role-playing game or escape room. I absolutely despise escape rooms, not because I don't think they're amazing and theoretically fun to play in, but because I either rely on the group I'm with or hate the group I'm with. Either way, I'm not solving the puzzle and I'm not having fun. Role-playing game every day of the week.
Nice.
Country music or disco music? Country music. I like country music. That's not a hard choice. Like bluegrass is where I go.
I'm with you on that one. I'm with you.
Yeah. Some good Coulter Wall. Trampoline with Jim Carrey or skydive with Dwayne Johnson. I only kind of know who Jim Carrey is. Skydiving with The Rock would probably be a worthwhile thing, and I think it would help my YouTube channel.
Fair enough. Probably a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Just a touch. We'd also bond during that moment. People are scared of you, or people easily scare you. I'd rather be easily scared, I think. Although I think it would be a worse life. I think there's probably a better, more financially or like comfort level type of life that exists if people are scared of you. There's people that certainly have proven that's the reality. But I think I'd rather live in a world. I have an idea about being taken advantage of. I try to live in a way that allows people to take advantage of me, which means at times I do get taken advantage of. But I'd rather choose to live like that, even in those times, than live from a position of always being like worried that someone was gonna, stab you in the back or something. So I'd rather be easily scared by people and trust the people around me not to scare me.
All right, man. Some nice deep answers on these.
Ooh,
and that leads us to the inevitable answer.
It's not the same as last time.
Are just like Groot.
Oh, Groot. Hi. And
you identify with Groot?
Sold. I'll take it. I like Groot.
Little known fact, Groot also likes country music.
I can see
Groot
that.
sounds like SpongeBob. That's the answer. And there's my ping pong table downwards.
That's your track.
I made mostly left choices here.
Hello.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was Lord of the Rings set you off this path, pretty much. Fantasy Lord of the Rings.
Nice.
Yeah,
that was fun.
You missed the dolphins, but
sadly, that's all right. It happens.
I do have, I think. Hold on, let me check. I might have information now.
Uh-oh.
Yes, here we go. Okay. So, little quick announcements. We did have a contest to win some of Katia's awesome calendars. It was through the Andromeda's Edge campaign and everything. And Peter over Cardboard Alchemy has picked some names for us. So let me just say those names. We'll also put them in the description after the show. Actually, maybe I should just put them in the description after the show because I'm looking in their weird usernames.
No, you got to try.
Yeah.
All right.
I agree.
Travis Ladd 6166. That's not too bad, right? I'm just afraid of what else might come along. VV Smurfy.
Sure.
And
Sure.
we have two more. Michelle Hansen 2364.
No, the worst.
Bad.
I'm good so far. And Citan Citan 108.
Sit-on.
Citan. Yeah, so those are our winners. We'll make sure that gets sent out to you. I think Andromeda's Edges, not Andromeda.
Peter's
How
the
can we
one
be sending
sending
that,
things
right?
out.
I told you before the stream started that Shira, my partner here on the channel, and my girlfriend got her pledge of the calendars in earlier this year, and absolutely loves them. So at some point, we're going to be able to get a Quackalope from you as well. We
Yes.
keep bugging you every time we see you.
It's in the plan.
Yeah, we pull you to the side and we're like, listen, what do we need to do? And you're like, I'm just really busy. I'm like, okay.
Well, I think it's because people underestimate how long I have to work on the mosaics that go in the calendar. It takes months and months. So and then after that you deal with the fulfillment. So it's like a half a year process. So yeah, but we'll make it happen.
It's very beautiful.
Thank you.
Very nice. So, Mike, did you want to do your trivia, or do you want to go into top 5? What do you want to do here?
No, I can do the trivia.
Great.
You all have something to write with, yeah?
What are you sipping on there, Mike? I want to know.
Jack Honey.
Okay.
Jack Honey
All right.
in my Jack Honey glass, actually.
Oh, there you go.
I know.
There you go. I was going to judge you, and then I realized that you're just obeying whatever the glass told you to drink. So
Glass told me Jack Honey. I poured Jack Honey.
I have a bottle of Bourbon County Gooseland Bourbon Barrel Stout, which is like absolutely delicious. If you ever find a bottle of it, it's thick enough that you can age it for 5 years and the beer doesn't go bad.
Oh, it's nice.
Wow.
Yeah.
The where we meet every Tuesday at Bullfinch, the guy's a magician, but he just did a stout in a bourbon barrel. He aged it in a bourbon barrel, and it was not warm. It was like room temperature and not carbonated, and it tasted amazing. Like he pulled a couple early last Tuesday, so it'll be ready for tomorrow. I can't wait. It was so freaking good.
Nice.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same guy that did a pineapple upside down sour. He did a rainbow sherbet sour, and I don't like sours. They're bonkers good. So anything bourbon, whiskey, and a stout, yeah, give me.
It's a good combination. Yeah, nice. Very nice.
All right. I have 5 questions. Not really questions. I'm going to ask you for 5 games.
Okay.
Each one, I have 4 clues. So hopefully you can get them. And I came up with a tiebreaker. So we'll see what happens. But I want the name of the game. Okay. Clue number 1. It was released in so I guess I can give you a little bit more information. Tomorrow is Valentine's Day. So these are all 2-player games.
Oh.
Okay.
Now I'm in trouble.
I was gonna say, is this where you reveal me as not a board gamer?
Yes.
Okay, great.
They're pretty. I mean, they're all pretty popular.
If the answer is Kingdom Death 5 times, I've got it. Other than that, we'll see.
You win. All right. Game number 1 was released in 1999. Features art by Vincent Dutray.
Can I answer now?
Is those my 2 clues?
You'll get 4. I was going to do a point system, but it's no fun. So.
Oh, okay.
Clue number 3, it is designed by the great Dr. Knizia.
I am so bad at names and dates. This is not. Give me one piece about what the cover looks like, and I've got you.
Nope. Maybe, but no. And clue number 4, it is published by Cosmos. So 2-player game, published by Cosmos. No looking at your shelving. Published by Cosmos, designed by Knizia, art by Dutray, and released in 1999.
I have not a single guess.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Say any 2-player game.
But if this is it, I'm going to be pretty happy with myself because I have this and I haven't played it yet.
Weird.
I'm going to write down something. I don't even know if it's a. No,
Anyone
I can't.
following along in the chat, write down your answers too. They
Oh
probably
my
won't.
gosh. Yeah. Oh, I can see the chant. Please,
Yeah.
please leave a comment.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
need it.
Give Jesse some help.
I'll do that one. Thank you, Alan. Got it.
Uh-oh, there's some other guesses.
It's
Though.
no,
definitely,
I'm doing-
it's definitely
Uh-oh.
not Targi. It's definitely not Targi.
I'm doing Alan's guess. Thank you.
All right, Chris, what'd you write down?
Lost Cities as well?
Katia? Spirits of the Wild.
Spirits of the Wild.
And Jesse, we already know you went with Lost Cities.
Lost Cities, absolutely.
Lost Cities it is.
Hey,
Damn
there we
it.
go. Alan and I have this. Don't worry. I mean, I've got this totally on my own. Really good at names and dates.
Totally didn't get any help from anybody from Costa Rica.
I almost had Jaipur in there.
Oh,
Actually, I hope I'm not kidding.
I didn't even think about that one.
The last, like, I don't think it's Cosmos, so.
It's not. It's Space Cowboys.
It is now. It wasn't originally in 99, though.
One, I don't think
Space
it's
Cowboys wasn't around in 99.
Two, I thought it was Space Cowboys.
I don't think originally.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
it's funny. I'm looking around like I own the game. I don't have it anymore. So
I have it in boxes
I
somewhere.
have it over there, but I'm not going to get it. All right, game number 2. Again, these are all 2-player games. Clue number 1. This was released in 2012. A little more modern.
Oh, you're killing me with these dates.
Is it?
Clue number 2. It is designed by Andreas Steiger. Steiger, Steiger.
got it.
Oh, that's not good. I don't. Mm-mm.
Clue number 3. It is played on a 5x5 grid. No changing your answer.
No, I have it.
Played on a 5x5 grid.
I've got a
And clue number
guess.
4, it is also published by Cosmos.
I don't know. Are all your clues names and dates?
No, it was played on a 5x5 grid.
Alan, I'm going to delay for you, buddy. I need you.
Uh,
We have 2 locked in.
they are delayed a little bit, but
Lost Cities again. Okay, I'm in.
Dave's just going to answer Target to every one of them.
Mhm.
All right.
Alan's got
Okay,
nothing.
we're revealing.
All right, we'll go back around. Jesse, what do you got?
I wrote down Sagrada. I don't have a guess.
Okay, Katia?
It is Targi.
Chris?
Targ.
Target it is. It is
I
Target.
did not
reason
have
I
it
know-
till you said
The
the
reason I
5.
know this is because he's actually the designer is very active on Facebook. So if you talk
Huh.
about his games in board game groups, he will show up. So it's nice.
There you go. All right.
Alan,
He let you down.
come on, Alan.
Dave had you on that one, though, Jesse. You just didn't go with Dave.
But I'm committed to Alan. We're in this together.
Plus, Dave said Targi last time, so it just looked like he was going Targi.
Yeah.
That did cross my mind. I thought he was just chirping there a bit.
I would believe Dave would be chirping at that point. All right, game number 3, released in 2014. Designed by Shinpei Sato. That's important.
Is it?
Yeah,
Clue number
you got us all lost on this one so far.
Yeah.
Clue number 3. It is played with only 5 cards.
What?
What?
Played
I
with
mean,
only
sounds
5
cool.
cards.
I'm in. I'll back that Kickstarter.
I'm
And-
afraid
Really
I
short
don't.
game of Uno?
Clue number 4. It is published by Arcane Wonders.
Oh. No, that's got more
I'm
than 5
afraid I
cards.
don't know the game.
What does
I-
Arcane Wonders have that only plays in 5 cards?
I don't
Yeah.
know, but
I have no
chat
clue.
has a good guess.
Remember,
No,
there are
but-
only 2 players.
Yeah, but Onitoma doesn't like it has more than 5 cards.
Does it? I've never played it.
You have a set of them.
I don't know.
I'm gonna go with Foundations of Rome.
Sure. 2 player only, small footprint. Yep, good pick. Good
I
pick.
haven't gotten to play that one yet.
So my memory, just for the record, my memory works so intrinsically on visual cues.
Sure.
that at least 3 of your guesses do nothing for me on each one of these.
I'm sure if I cropped out the name and showed you the cover image, you'd get every one of them.
You're being called out, Mike. He said that there are more than 5 cards, but when you play, you only use 5.
That's what Alan's saying. When you play,
If
you only
in
use 5.
fact it is Onitama.
All right,
We have
do we
another
have
guess.
Yeah, what was your clue? How did
do we have guesses?
I
My
have no
clue?
guess. I got no
what
guess.
was your clue?
It
How
is
did
played
you
with
word
only-
your clue?
It's played with only 5
Oh,
cards.
so maybe it is Onitoma.
I'm not going to steal from comments, but I got no guess.
I'm gonna actually. I think I've got a good one. I'm gonna go with Onitoma. I think.
I'm
It's a
gonna
good guess.
that you have that, because I don't want to change it after seeing people's comments. But my answer instead was this.
Good.
They're all
Using up the
two-player
time for
games.
advertisement.
So I mean, isn't that what we do when we don't have the answer?
I've never. If
Yeah.
it is Onitama, I've never played it, so I didn't have this one.
All right,
Ooh,
Jesse. You said
wait.
it-
I'm switching my guess to Dave's. Targi.
Targi again. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you switching? Are you switching
I am switching. Confirming.
to Targi?
Absolutely.
Even though Targi was the answer to the last question.
I hear what you're saying, but I think you're a trickster.
Okay, the correct answer is Onitama.
If I was competitive in this, I would not be interacting with the comments so much.
Sure. I'm going to give Jesse that one because you did have that one.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, there are plenty of other cards, but when you play, you get 2, your opponent gets 2, and there's one off to the side. And when you play, the card you play, the move you make goes to the other, like it's off for a turn, and you get the one that's been off. So you're cycling through the same 5 cards. It's fantastic. It's a great game. All
I
right,
think
number 4.
Jesse's new band ought to be Jesse in the Commenters.
Jesse in the commenters. All right, so it's them versus you guys. Question number 4, game number 4 was released more recently, 2019.
Okay.
I'm going to give you 2 designers' names, but they're not going to make a difference. Jamie Sajak and Manolis. I'm going to pronounce it wrong. Manolis Varnas. Doesn't matter. I just went with all the designers. Clue number 3. It is played with 4 4x4 boards.
Oh, well,
4 4x4 boards.
4.
You mean
4
16
by
boards?
4 different 4x4 boards. Is that better?
Gotcha.
I'm blanking on the name. I think I know the publisher. I think I know the publisher, maybe, possibly.
Well, that'll be your next clue.
Is that? I'm trying to think. Is that?
Who do you think it is? Well, maybe that'll give it away. It is published by Smirk and Laughter.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
I've got it. I drew it out. Well, I shouldn't show anyone. I forget the name of it. What's the
I
name?
have it somewhere back here.
I told
will
you I'm bad at names.
will
I
take
could
a
teach you
picture.
how to play this game right now. I cannot tell you the name for the life of me.
I'll take a picture. I'll take 6 figures on this one, Jesse. Chris, nothing?
No.
Oh,
That's
Chris,
right.
this is a great game.
Catchy, what do you got? It is a great game.
Yeah,
Jesse?
Shobu. There's my
Shobu it
artwork.
is.
Oh,
Well done.
Lovely
Steven.
game.
All
I
right,
haven't
leading
played it
into-
yet, but I have a copy.
Oh my gosh. It's one of those games that immediately felt like it always belonged.
Oh,
It's great. It's got real stones. The rope just divides the thing, but the functionality of how you move on your board and you move on the other board, it's fantastic. I did not know this, but the newer game Boop is also designed by the same. I don't know, one of the people from.
I've heard awesome things from Boop as well.
Yeah.
I haven't played it myself, but
it's fun.
Good stuff. All right, going
Yeah.
into number 5, we are at Chris with 2, Katia with 2, Jesse with 3. With an
kind
S.
of.
All right, game number 5. It was published 2022. It was designed by Scott Alms. With art by Michael Menzel.
None of these help me.
Michael Menzel did. And
Tell me, are there cute forest creatures in it? I've got it if it's that.
I can neither confirm nor deny that there are cute forest creatures in it.
All right. That's all I pay attention to.
Clue number 4, it was most recently published by Capstone Games, who has been killing it with their games lately. 2-player only, 2022. Scott Alms designed it. Beautiful art by Mr. Menzel.
I got nothing.
Ooh.
I'm going to
Can
guess
you
something
describe
completely wrong.
The artwork on the cover of this game.
Again, the cover would do it, but this was a non-visual quiz.
No. Non-visually describe the cover.
Oh, no. I'm not doing that. It's got some people on it. They're sitting at a table, possibly at an inn.
I got nothing.
I see some good comments, good, potential comments. I don't know though. I have nothing on this one.
Nothing?
Nope.
Nothing.
I just put this because it's Valentine's. So
Oh.
Nothing. Jesse, nothing.
Definitely not that.
It is indeed
Beer and
How
bread.
did you not do the Fog of Love?
beer and bread. I mean, I have my reasons.
So I would really like to play Beer and Bread one time. I've heard good things, but I haven't actually got it. I probably wouldn't have even got it off of just describing the box, honestly.
Yeah, it's got some people. So apparently you are not rival. You work on you're growing resources together in the same plot of land, but they still had friendly competition of whose was better. And then they go over 6 rounds of beer, food, drink, or something like that. So it takes place. It's like a real thing, but
Cool.
yeah. All right. So after 5 games, Jesse unofficially wins with 3. And good job.
I will take that victory. Alan and I will write home about it.
There you go. You will always have this moment to look back on. And
What makes that
victory.
made that one tough for me is that when I first started really collecting games and stuff, of course, I was like, oh, 2-player, because I have Aaron and we play 2-player all the time. And then it was a couple years in, we were like, we could play a lot of games 2-player without it actually needing to be 2-player. So I stopped really focusing on 2-player games. So once you got it to 2016 or whatever and up, I was like, I haven't been paying attention.
Yeah, I think they're all ones that I would bring. Although I do prefer Lost Cities, the board game. I think it gives more choice. It makes it a little more fun with the way the tracks work. They are great games. Targi is amazing. Onitam is amazing. So I would recommend them as good 2-player if your local store has them and you're looking for something to do tomorrow night. Grab any one of them.
I think the challenging part for me is I've really only been in the hobby for about 4.5, maybe 5 years. And a good season of that was Kingdom Death. And then the next season of that was diving into the channel and building out the channel. And so a lot of what we covered has been some backlog. We went through the top 100, played the majority of them. But most of what we cover from a day-to-day right now is actually prototypes or brand new releases. And so this is my personal collection behind us here. We have 2 Calyxes Sheer and I share. That is our games. And our games are basically just a love letter to what we might play in the future, because the odds of us getting games that we historically love off and down to the table is really low. We play a lot of new stuff as content creators.
Yeah, how much time do you actually have to play something? I mean, it's your career, right? You're building this channel and you're doing stuff for the industry, but how much of it, when you have time to like not do Quackalope channel stuff, are you playing board games? Do you get a game to the table, or is it like, I don't want to look at another fucking meeple?
No, I love board games, and I love getting together with a board game group. There's 2 answers to this. One is an answer that's respective to the season that we're currently in, and one is an answer that's respective to what I think will exist outside of this season. So right now, we're in a season where Shira's not up here in Cleveland with me. She's actually down in Florida. We're in between, building our relationship, the conversion process to Judaism, hopefully getting married here in the next 3 months. And so there's a lot of stuff that's up in the air. And we're at the same time trying to grow the team at Quackalope and trying to get ahead on content and trying to prepare. And so right now I work about 90 hours a week, and I still take a full Shabbat. And so 25 hours off every single weekend. I think it's what sustains me, honestly, from Friday night through Saturday. But during the weekdays, I mean, I went to bed last night at about 4:30 a.m. I woke up at 10, and we have been in production mode since I woke up, and not just me, but our team as well. And so the answer for right now and for the last like 4 or 5 months is I really don't play anything outside of what you're seeing on the camera and what you're seeing where us talk about and covering. Outside of that, we typically play a lot of board games for fun when we can. I like having 1 or 2 game groups that are outside of our actual work schedule where we sit down and we play. I mean, I've had some guys over for the last day and a half playing through a bunch of spotter games. One, because there's an audience there that likes it, so we are recording a lot of them, but also because selfishly, like, I needed a couple of days to produce content and work, but at the same time, play through stuff with a group of people that just enjoys playing it. And so once Shira's back in town, I think we'll be back to a season of our lives where every week or every other week, we actually have an evening that's set aside to just play things for fun. Because I think that's important. And it's not something that I don't think it's sustainable for us to not do that for a long time.
Right. So you're, even when you have time to build you're still going to board games.
I love board games, but I love board games because I get to sit around a table and laugh and joke and bond with people. What I tell people is, like, if I didn't have a community that I could connect with through board games, I wouldn't play board games.
Right.
I think they're fun. I think they're awesome. I think the meeples and the miniatures and the miniature painting and all that is incredible. But for me, it started in the RPG world. It started with a trip to a local game store to play D&D. It started with two RPG sessions that I was running, 1 homebrew and 1 core campaign. And so it's always been about the people that are sitting around the table, more so than any of the games or any of the other things that we're doing.
Good to know.
Because D&D is just an excuse to get people together and tell a story.
Got board games too, right? Like,
yeah.
They do the same thing, inviting strangers to a table, live in a fantasy world for a couple hours, and have some fun. And maybe you get
100%. I think there's more crossover in the board game and RPG world than a lot of people like to glance at. We had Tony Vacinda from Plus 3X or Plus 1 EXP down for about a week last week. We did a lot of coverage that was focused on the hybrid of dungeon crawlers and boss battlers and campaign games and story games and RPGs, which can have tactical movement and mechanics and strategic dice rolling and really cool equipment, and how like those lines blur way more than most of the hobby people like to actually admit.
Sure, yeah.
I mean, I found Kingdom Death because I was looking for a D&D game that didn't have a DM.
Kingdom Death will do it.
All right, well, so we want to jump into the top 5 games people will love.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what we were titling this, right?
Yeah.
Games you will love. Yes. All right. So what does that mean? We left it actually pretty vague, which is fun because then you get different takes on it, right? So what's that mean to everybody? What did you take this as? What were your standards for this list?
I went into it as like not love in quotes, like it doesn't exist, but this is a game, and this is why you'll love it. Like, you should play this game if you have it, if you know someone that has it. This is why you'll love it. This is why I love it, and this is why you'll love it. Whether that's a more component or something like that.
I went more with like a specific kind of gaming group, like light gamer versus like people who like crunchier things, and then it's like this is a good like recommendation that I would take.
Jesse?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I just went mostly instinctual. I was trying to think about the games that I would describe with an adjective of love, like the games that for me elicit or have elicited the best moments and the best experiences through my gaming history. Because that's what I think of. I think about the people that I played them with and what type of other experiences they might give to people in the future.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty much along the same lines. I was just thinking, this is going to be one of those rare lists where I don't have 5 is better or 1 is better than 2, 2 is better than 3, because what I did was I thought of 5 different things, like if you love this, then you'll love this game, that kind of thing.
Cool.
So there are 5 different things in this case.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Why don't you start off?
You want me to start off and then go clockwise?
Sure.
All right, let's do it. So number 5, my number 5 is. Oh, I'm going to share my. If you like, I also kind of tried to think of games I don't think people talk about that much anymore, or just don't get talked about at all. This one I think was talked about quite a bit when it came out, or for a short period of time. You know how our entire industry is; they forget real quick, right? But if you like games. I'm trying to think of the word. What's the word? I got it written out here, right here. Deduction. There you go. Deduction. If you like deduction games, whodunit, that kind of thing. Deception, Murder in Hong Kong is a game you might love. There's horrible pictures for this, by the way, on BGG. But I'm going to go through a bunch of these until we get to something good. Yeah. So, basically there is a murderer, there's an investigator, and then everybody else is kind of like trying to figure out which one of you is the murderer. And in front of you, you have these 2 different kinds of cards, which are never going to show us in these pictures.
No.
There we go. Well, that's one of the types. So something was left behind, like cigarette ashes and skulls and things like that. This is the murder weapon, right? And so you get to ask the what do you call it, like the medical examiner questions, and they can't answer you other than putting little bullets on this stuff. So they'll put like location, it was at a bookstore. So if somebody has like a bookmark, it's one of the pieces, you could start looking at their cards and go, oh, it might be this person, that kind of thing. It's a fun little investigative thing. If you're the murderer, the traitor or something, you get that little, heart beat, and you're trying not to show that you're nervous during it. It's a fun little one that I don't see a lot of people talk about anymore, and thought I'd pop it up there.
Go on. Have anybody played it besides Chris? I mean, I have.
I have not.
Go on.
All right. Well, we're not in a round anymore. Oh, Katia.
Oh, nice.
Corey has an awesome comment, by the way.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's pretty good.
I'm gonna start with this one because we've already mentioned it tonight. But Targi was on my list.
There you go.
Nice.
Great game.
For people who love 2-player games and want something that has good decision making, that is not too light. It's a good, yes, it plays on a 5x5 grid. Yeah. It's a worker placement and resource management, and you're trying to gain cards to accumulate points. But there's a sort of set collection aspect to it as well. It's just an all around really good game. I think it's on Board Game Arena, and when you play it on Board Game Arena, it does all the tedious stuff for you. Even it calculates everything you need to calculate. It tells you what you're allowed to purchase based on your resources. So it's a good one. If you don't own a copy, you can play it online. But yes, I believe you'll love it.
It really, I haven't played anything that has the same kind of cross-section in games, right? When you place the meeple, and then where they meet in the grid is a thing. It's super cool. It's one of a kind for sure. Also, Jesse, I moved you up one, so when the comments come up, they're not covering your face; they're covering mine.
But I like Matt. Hi, Matt.
Hi, Matt.
Ready? Nice. I've had this game for many years, and I have not played it yet. But I only knew the answer to Mike's trivia question because of the back of the box had the 5x5 cards.
There you go. The visual work.
Yep. Nice one. So Mike's messed up the order. So Jesse, what's your number?
Sure. I mean, no surprise to anyone. Kingdom Death Monster has to be on this list. But I'll tell you 2 reasons why. One, because I've had more thematic, experiential, heartbreaking moments in this game that I have with any other game that I've played, where you're standing up around the table screaming about a dice that just rolled. The critical hits feel amazing. The critical misses feel like crushing defeat. And the second reason for me is because my partner, the person that I'm going to be playing the most games with for the rest of my life, actually has moved Kingdom Death Monster to her second favorite game of all time.
Wow.
And so, despite my unapologetic love for it, I'm really excited that I found someone that enjoys playing it just as much. So,
Very cool.
Nice. That's a great reason.
My only thing with that game, and I agree with you with some of the most epic moments where you're standing up at the table and you can't believe that shit just went down. There was something, the butcher, I think, came and killed my friend Keith. He rolled a 1, dead, and he had this one thing that was like, once a lifetime you can re-roll, and he's like, fuck it, I'll use it, and rolled again, rolled a 1 again. And it was just like, it was totally devastating.
But when in any other game do you remember 2 dice rolls?
Yeah. Well, that epic, right?
I'm just saying, like,
yeah.
2 dice rolls elicited that.
My only thing with Kingdom Death, and I love every aspect of it, you need to play it with someone who knows it, someone that can run it, someone that can do all the stuff, because there's it's really not a complicated game, but the setup and the hunt and everything that happens when you come back to the village, all of that needs someone to kind of guide, like, all right, this is what we're doing. There's
a depth of strategy to it that gets really complicated as the game continues. The actual rulebook itself is about 46 pages or something like that, with full graphics, full illustration. This isn't tiny text crammed into the corners. So from a complexity level, it's not too hard to run. From a management level, once the game's actually up and going and you're 20 hours into the campaign, I even get overwhelmed with the amount of little stuff I should be taking into account.
Yeah. Great game. Such a great
And
game.
you play in your bath towels, apparently.
Yeah. I mean, that's the starting survivors. Those are probably some of the most iconic miniatures in the world for me.
Yeah. They're loincloths, right? What are they called?
No, they're wraps. They're what is it? Pieces of fabric.
Yeah, they call it something.
You're talking about the starting card. I actually don't remember.
Yeah. No, great game. Good pick.
What's up with this guy's eyes? Did they just paint him weird?
They painted them like that, but at the start of the game, you are the first 4 characters that spawn or are created in this world are created thematically from a character called the Scribe, who actually writes them with ink into existence, and so they rise up from the stone ground. Their eyes are stained with ink. It's sort of like the story starting, and then their children after them, as they are born, are without the ink stained eyes. Is how the thematic goes.
Interesting.
It's a great game.
Nice. Mike, is this also your number 5?
No, Kingdom Death did not make it on there.
I know you love it.
It is fantastic. It's actually a game. I know 3 people in my collective circle that own it, so I don't feel the need to own it. Also, the miniatures have to be put together, and when one of the creatures has 100 little hands that you're supposed to put all around its ass, I can't. I mean, there's so much. There's so much. All right, I'm going to go. This is a safe one, but I'm going to go with this one. I've talked about it, I think, briefly on another show. Downtown Farmers Market. Downtown Farmers Market is a tile selection game, tile placement game. In the beginning of the game, you're given 4 double-sided scoring tiles that you will place either across the top of your market or the side of your market. And once you do that, and you can pick which side, and once you do that, you're given 4 more double-sided scoring tiles, and you place them on the opposite side. You're basically creating what's going to score you at the end of the game. And on your turn, you're drafting tiles that have food icons on them, and you're placing them in your 4x4 grid based on what you've created as your scoring for that round. So if you look at that 7 on the left there, that column is looking for one item to have 7. 7 of it in existence in that column. And you get 7 points for it. The next one over is corn, and you get 1 point for every corn in that column. So the tiles you're drafting and placing are being governed by the rules that you set up in the beginning of the game. It's super simple. It plays really quickly. It's just a fun game. Tight, compact box. If you haven't
looks
played,
like Sorry, it looks like a point salad tile game.
It's way better than Point Salad because Point Salad's not good.
No, it's great.
It's not. It really isn't.
Yeah,
I mean, for everyone has, it's good for some people. The reason I love this game is you're given those scoring tiles in the beginning of the game without any knowledge of what's in the market. So you're looking for, like, the carrots and then the eggs and the cheese. You need exactly 2 eggs and 1 cheese in that entire column of 4 tiles. If you have 3 eggs, you botched it. If you have 2 cheeses, you botched it. You get no points. So you're creating your scoring, and then immediately you're like, well, shit, why the hell did I pick that one? But you're creating what's going to be scoring, and I love that aspect of this game. Otherwise, it's a tile drafting game. There's going to be tiles in a market, depending on the number of players. If you're playing a 2-player game, something's going to be bounced. But you're basically just drafting a tile and putting it into your 4x4 grid. Doesn't need to be adjacent. It can be diagonal. Doesn't have to be in specific columns. You can put it anywhere in your 4x4. So it's super simple to get the premise of the game out there to gamers, the puzzle of it for gamers, and the ease of it for non-gamers. It just fits really nice in that wheelhouse.
I have a few games I need to try so far. This is a fun list for me too, because I love discovering what other people have had really, really good experiences with and think other people will love. So I'm gonna have to go pick up some of these.
Game's great. It's I want to say it's blue orange, and they have yet to fail me. Every one of their games has been, the quality is good. I mean, they're tiles, right? But they're chunky tiles. They're not like cheap shit tiles. They're actually got some meat to them. Yeah, there you go.
blue orange.
It's just great. They actually have a new one coming out. It's a retheme of this. I forget the name of it. I want to say it's space themed. So if you're not into like going down to your farmer's market and getting eggs and carrots, it's got a different theme to it. So they're coming out with a new one. I want to say it's space themed. Somebody in the comments can help me out there. But
Cool.
Yeah, great game.
Great. So now we're on our number 4.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So are we coming back around to me, or do you want to snake it back? You want to do your number 4, Mike?
I can, yeah.
All right. Give us your number 4.
I will go with I'm going to go with The Thief of Baghdad. It's more recently republished as 12 Thieves, if that helps. The number 12. Same game, different cover. Nope.
You don't want to use that cover?
That's not even the right game.
It says The Thief of Baghdad.
This is a classic.
There's another thief in Baghdad. That's
Okay.
Game
You want to give me another name?
Just look at 12 Thieves. 12 Thieves.
12 Thieves.
The number 12. There you go.
I know 12. There we go.
Yeah.
Oh, it's clean.
So you are, the way that the board is set up, there are these palaces, and there you go. That's the original one. There are these palaces. There you go. And there are guards out front of the palaces. And you're trying to get your thieves inside the palace to pick up the treasure chest. The treasure chest needs a certain amount of thieves in order to carry it out the door. It'll be 4, and it'll grow up from there. They're worth more points. Depending on the game state and how the guards in the front are working, you are actually, like, your guards will help you through. So everyone out front is impersonating a guard. There are the black ones, which are the games. And as long as you have more guards out front, you can start getting your thieves into the palace. But the thing that I love most about this game is the way that the cards work. The cards are played either to it's a white palace or it's an orange palace. You're playing the cards in order to go from a palace to another palace in the card selection. So if you want to go from the white palace to the orange palace, you're playing cards that match. Either you're at the white and you want to go to the orange, or you're playing because you want to go to the orange from the white. The way the card system works in this game, and there's wilds which help you out as well. The way the card system works in this game is what really, to me, is what brings this game to life. The choice in what you have in your hand and how you're playing them based on the game state, who's moving the guards around. You're trying to, not really, bluffing is not a mechanism in this game, but you're trying to bluff into what palace you want to go to because of the points, and you're trying to strategize, making it look like you want to go someplace, and then you drop the color combo to move the guys out of there because somebody moved their guards out. The game is really, it's in my bag. It comes with me. It's really, really fun.
How's it play at 2?
plays great at 2. I think there's a 2-player variant, like you're supposed to do something with the guards or something, but it plays really well at 2.
Nice. Jesse, you're number 4?
Yeah, so a game that I actually just played recently. I was telling you about Tony being down from +1 EXP, and we were talking about the hybrid of board games and RPG games. And one of the areas that I find that usually overlaps is going to be in the realm of social deduction. So there's a little 2-player game called Inhuman Conditions. This is oftentimes at some of your conventions with a line around the corner for people to sit down and play. Plays in about 5 minutes, and the entire concept of the game is one of you is sitting at a booth checking someone's humanity, seeing if they are a peaceful robot, a violent robot, or a human. If you are the human, you don't have to worry about anything. Just answer questions honestly and continue moving forward. If you are a robot, make sure the person at the desk doesn't discover who you are before you either slam down your hands and murder them or pass on your way with a stamp saying that you can continue on your merry way and go through the checkpoint. This game, in about as quick as I've ever seen a social deduction game, sets up the opportunity for character play, for storytelling, for very quick, like I said, a 5-minute session will give you this whole backstory and allow you and whoever you're sitting across from to really get beyond the game and kind of connect on a human level in only a way that a role-playing or caricature game kind of allows you to do. It's fun sometimes to embody the mind and the personality of someone that you're not, and it allows you to explore yourself a little bit at the same time. Lovely game. It immediately became part of our permanent collection, and this is one that I'll pull out to show to people who I'm trying to get into the hobby time and time again.
Good one.
Cool.
Yeah, that looks fun. I haven't tried that one.
I remember watching that one. I was outside that booth you were talking about where they were like interviewing each other. And the one person was trying to answer the questions and not lie, but lost it, like just hysterical laughing. Really cool moment. I've never played it. I've watched it played multiple times at conventions. Like you said, there's always a crowd around it.
There's always a line.
Yeah.
This is one that's worth paying attention to. If you're able to grab a copy, it's worth it's worth every penny.
Yeah.
You're walking in the desert and you come across a tortoise. All right. Katia, you're number 4.
My number 4, I'm gonna go with Meadow, which is, I would recommend it for light medium gamers that like cute animal art, and yeah.
Sorry. What was it?
Meadow.
Oh, Meadow. Okay.
Like a meadow. There it is.
I thought you said metal.
No, Meadow.
Meadow.
Yeah, it's a mostly card game, but you're basically like building your tableau and sort of engine building, I guess. Like your the cards that you end up getting will help you acquire other cards because of the resources that are on them. But the artwork is really nice. It's a really mellow type of game, but still has some interesting decisions to it, and it's really pretty.
Yeah, I got this game based off of your recommendations, and I was happy with it.
Mm-hmm.
Really lovely game. This is one of the ones that Shira is always willing to grab off the shelf.
Yeah.
I was trying to find a layout. Well, I guess they've.
Yeah, I like the way that you draft your cards, like the fact that you have that little arrow that you decide which row or column you're gonna go and pick from. Like, I like that. That was a neat thing to do. So
Interesting.
yeah.
Well, my number 4 has something very much in common with this game, actually. And my number 4 is Quadropolis. What it has in common, of course, if you've played it, and if they show us, actual gameplay pictures in here, we need to start putting together our own. Yeah, there we go. You also have numbers that you put out to grab the items in here. It's a city building game. This is a fuzzy picture, but there you go. So you put out your different ones, and if you put out this one here, you can grab anything from here. As long as this little guy isn't in the space, you can place your piece, and you get 4 picks. I think there's a version where you could get 5 picks. But you're basically picking up your different tiles and building a little city and scoring based on how things sit next to each other and get activated. It's a fun little. It feels kind of like this kind of quick reward in a way, but like you pick up your little thing, you put it there, and go, oh, okay, now I can see I've got 2 points here, and you make plans, and they don't come into fruition, and you get frustrated, and it's fun.
This is one that I'd really like to play.
Yeah,
I still haven't had the chance, but it's been on my list.
Yeah, it looks really good, and I still can't believe that we just listed 2 games that have the exact same mechanism.
Daryl.
Hey, Daryl.
Hey, Daryl.
Yep. Yeah, Quadropolis is great. And I think that's the production quality of it was really good too. But I think the thing that stuck out was the same thing that was really cool in Meadow that Chris pointed out too, is the way that the selection works, right? You're dropping down the thing and you're picking from a row or column. Just really smart.
And this is actually a pretty functional insert, by the way. I don't usually talk about insert and stuff, but I've talked about how this really gets you right into the game real fast. So
yeah,
they need the insert to play the game, is what I would say. Otherwise, it would be a mess to set up every time. But yeah, it's my number 4. So if we're snaking around, then that means it's my number 3 next.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, so my number 3, I'm going to dip my toes into the whole feels like RPG meets board game kind of thing. But because we're near Valentine's, I picked something that's cooperative, which is unusual for me. But I've talked about this before, Sleeping Gods. It's a very, everybody's on the same mission together, enjoying the story together, discussing where to go and stuff. You could play this solo if you wanted to, but it's actually better with more people, in my opinion, because discussing about where to go next and what to do. And, oh, remember that guy said this and stuff. We should go check out what's on that beach and things like that. It's when it's my turn, I forget to change the little pictures and stuff. But, it's not that difficult of a game to get into real quick. Yeah, you have different characters to play, but it doesn't really matter. Like you play like 3 characters or something. It depends on, there's 9 total, and then you just split them up depending on how many people you're playing with. The only thing I would say is that it can be quite challenging in combat sometimes. And combat can really beat you up pretty badly. And so
Distant Skies is going to do some stuff to not only lessen the number of characters you're playing, but also clean up a few of those combat rules that I think some people struggled with. Amazing game. This is a great pick.
Thank you. Yep. I've talked about it before, but it's a great experience. I've played 4 whole through campaigns and just go to a different spot every time, do something different every time.
Do you feel like you've explored the world yet? Or you feel like there's still more to dive back into?
What's weird is there's a few pockets that I've missed, but I feel like if I went to that pocket, then I know what's around me immediately. So I'll probably just leave those alone and wait until I get more stuff from the Kickstarter or GameFound. Sure. I think you went there. Yeah. But who knows? I'll probably go back through it eventually.
Ooh.
It's fun. Look at the little smoke. All right, Katia, you're number 4.
Oh, we're already back to me. Okay.
Number 3.
I'm gonna go with, this is a bit older game that I think is out of print, so sorry. But I think you would love it. It's called Dice Settlers. And if you like back building games, this is one with dice, so I think it's even better because it's with dice. But yeah, it's when I played Dwellings of Eldervale, this, like, I was seeing some kind of like similarity from this game. It doesn't really play the same way, but there are some things that are like, oh yeah, this kind of feels like that. But it's a bit of an area control. I don't know. It's been a while since I played it, but I remember really, really liking it, and I just can't wait to get it to the table again. But Yeah, the main thing is like building your bag of dice was one of the most fun things in the game. And then you get to place your little houses or your little tents on those tiles. You're adding tiles, kind of like, maybe that's why Dwellings reminded me of that game, was the adding tiles as you go, and you're sort of building that map out. But yeah, it's a really good one. But like I said, it is older, so probably hard to find.
I remember when this came out and I got interested immediately, and then I watched a review or a couple of reviews that kind of tanked it for me. I was just like, oh, moved on and stuff. But maybe I'll look at it since Meadow was good and you suggested it. So
yeah, it's definitely good.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Nice.
It's not that old though, right? It's only what, 4? What did it come out? 18, 19?
I want to say it's a bit older than that, but I could be wrong.
I forget where 2018, yeah.
18.
Oh, okay.
So, it's 5 years. That's a good one.
5 years. Okay.
All right, Jesse's number 3.
Yeah, so mine is going to move into the realm of arguably children's games, but not the way we play it. A classic that I had to go buy off eBay for $80, I believe, called Ringo the Flamingo.
No.
Oh, absolutely. This game is a riot. And I don't know why no one has reprinted or reissued or redistributed this. Came out back in the early 2000s. You have these springy rings. You are using them with a little bit of leverage to flip them up onto this box. The box becomes the game. If you get it around a flamingo, you score a point. If you get it around a crocodile, you lose a point. Here's the 2 additions we made to this game to make this one that will never leave my collection. And I literally bought this on eBay because you can't find it anywhere before I talked about it on my channel, due to the risk that I would not be able to get a good copy of it easily enough. So the 2 changes. 1, if a ring falls off the table, it is fair game for anyone around the table to grab. Okay, so if a ring is not on the box, it's still in play, and you can grab your friend's ring and fling their rings. Here's the second change that makes that first change even more important. If a ring goes around a crocodile, you take, half a shot?
I was going to ask if...
100%. This game transforms. You don't need the shot to make it worthwhile. The fact that we added in a little bit of take that there, where you're grabbing and flinging other people's rings, makes it a bit more of an adult game, because you're grabbing these things off the table around you. You're trying to be careful how you fling, and you're getting really purposeful with flinging your opponent's rings. We've had moments where I was flinging West's ring and either gave him the victory or caused myself to lose. And those are just a hoot. But on top of that, if you do like drinking at all, and you like getting a group of people together that enjoy drinking a bit as well, this is just one of those to add into the rotation, because you pull it out, everyone's going to laugh. It's kind of on the similar bar to Looping Louie for me, which is another one of those classics that are young children's games that are also just fun. I see the hand raised. What's up?
So I assume those rings are specific colors, right? You're blue, you're green, you're pink.
Yep. Blue, green, pink, or blue, green, pink, and orange.
Let's say, Jesse, you were blue.
Yep.
And let's say, Jesse, you flung your blue ring and it fell off the board, and I grab it.
Absolutely.
If I get that blue ring around a crocodile, do you then drink?
100%.
Okay, yeah. No, I'm in.
For sure. Now I need a video whenever he comes to visit you of you guys.
It's a take that drinking game is what it sums up to be.
Yep. That's good.
Get that on video.
Have you played the Narwhal game? It was like $20 at Target for a while.
The normal ring, the what?
The Narwhal one.
Narwhal. I know there is a Narwhal version out there. I think. I don't know. All I know is that we also have a flamingo mascot on our channel as well, which means West has a goal of playing 2 flamingo games a month for the duration of this year. Well, games that at least have a flamingo in it. So we've now started going back to publishers that we like working with, desperately asking them to include flamingos in their upcoming titles. So
very cool.
That's funny.
I'm not on eBay, Brett. Not yet. After the show. The Narwhal game is the only thing is you fill the thing with water, and the narwhals float around. someone's cranking it to create like them to float, and you're flicking the things onto the narwhal's horn. It's the same, similar, but the narwhals are moving and it involves water. So you put a towel underneath, maybe.
Is it narwhal free for all?
That one, yeah.
Interesting. I don't love the water element mixed in there, just off of my like instinctually.
Sure, well, drinking and gets messy.
Yeah. Cool.
Very similar.
Nice.
What was that one called? Flamingo what?
Ringo Flamingo.
That's it.
Don't write it down.
I'm going now.
No, it's your turn. You're number 3. We need your number 3.
Okay. Is it my turn?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm going to go with it's recently been republished as a different name, Safranito.
You're going to have to spell that.
Safran should come up.
You all have so many that I don't know.
I don't know this one.
So it was recently redone as hibachi. It was on one of the crowdfunding things, I believe. So Safranito has these really cool clay or composite poker chips that have a hole in the center. On your turn, depending on the number of players, you're going to take the poker chips, which are numbered 10 through 60. You have 6 chips, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. You're going to flick them onto the board, and you can't, like beer pong rules, you can't flick them, over the edge of the board. And they will land on the board. The edge of the board, I don't know if the picture is really going to do it justice, but the edge of the board, that frame is raised. So the chips won't fly off the board. But once everyone's done flicking their chips, you'll do the 4 center actions first. But basically, where the center of your chip lies, if you can see one of those, there you go. You can see one of the dishes in the center. That is your bid for those ingredients. And around the board are set ingredients. Some might have some might have many. Some might only have one. But you need the ingredients in order to fulfill a recipe. And the recipe, those things. And the first one to fulfill 3 is fantastic because you win. But your chips are flung with the number down, so no one knows what you're doing. So you could really benefit from maybe knocking somebody's chip out of saffron and getting your 10 in there because you're only paying $10 for the saffron. Or you might want to throw in your high chips because you sell first. So if you have an abundance of a certain thing, you can sell them for really high. Really cool. Like the production quality of it is great, but the way that the chips work, and you're flicking them and trying to knock people out of where you think they've put their high chips. It's just really fun. Always had a great time introducing that to people, getting it to the table. Haven't played hibachi, although I have it here actually. But it's supposed to be very similar, just with a more modern theme.
This looks really cool. You're gonna have to teach me this one.
Absolutely.
Nice.
Oh, don't bother with the new version. Why? Did they change it or they just retheme it? Like not retheme it, but give it like an art upgrade. Because the game Safranito it's out of print. I thought hibachi is kind of the same, just with different art. Very simple to get into. It's not complicated, and it's always a fun time at the table.
Nice. What's your number 2? Snaking around.
I'm gonna stick in with the dexterity for a minute and go with a la carte. Space L-A a la
Space
carte.
in there.
There you go.
There we go.
Game is unbelievably fantastic. You have, and go through some of the things. You have a pan that you're trying to cook stuff in. I guess cooking is a thing, huh? Farmer's market, right? Safranito, a la carte. Yep, you're welcome, Daryl. So
Daryl knows where I am too. Yeah, I'm on board.
Your pan has it's a physical pan. Yep. And it's on a stovetop, and your stovetop has heat. And then you have those little shakers. And in the shakers are ingredients by the color, and then salt, which are the clear ones. On your turn, you have 3 actions. You can draft. You can roll dice to try and get some stuff. One of the main actions is to take one of those shakers and shake it into your pan to try and get the ingredients needed for the recipe. it's fantastic when it works, and it feels so good when you shake it and stuff comes out and it's the right stuff you want in your pan, and it feels like absolute garbage when you shake it and nothing comes out. It's the most frustrating in a game, and while still having fun with it. It's fantastic. So the ingredients, there's a certain amount of things you need for it, whether it be 2 green and a black or 1 of each color. You're allowed to have more ingredients than are needed, but if you ever have 3 of the same ingredient, you ruin the dish. If you have salt, the dish is no longer perfect. So go back 1. So you see the green and the peppermill. Those are you need 1 green and 1 black in your dish. On the bottom is the temperature of your stove. So you need your stove at 0. If it's 1 or higher, you've burnt the dish. And if you do it, you get 3 points. If you do it perfectly, you get an extra star, which is an extra point. The thing is, as people go and they roll the dice, one of the facings is everyone needs to move the heat on their stovetop up. So you could be screwing other people up as you go around. Not necessarily the main point of the game, but the shaking of the spices is the key to this game. It just makes it super fun.
I'll tell you what, this game looks super interesting, but also your selections gives me an amazing insight into the type of games you choose to bring to the public through your own business. Just for the record, so much of this makes sense now.
Yeah. Well, so the way I went with it was the love, right? You're going to love this game. And every time I brought this to the table and played it with people, like my sister and my mother are not gamers at all. And they adore this game, and the laughter that comes from it. Like I just played it with Mike from 3WS and his brother recently, and it's not a game that neither of them would ever pick to play. But when you get it to the table and people are looking at this actual pan, right, this tin pan on this 3D stove, and these shakers with the ingredients, and you're like, all right, what do I do on my turn? All right, well, you need red, and like that ingredient needs 2 red, so you grab the red shaker and you shake it, and nothing comes out, and then you shake it again, and nothing comes out. It's fan. You want to say something? Oh, my sister! We have a special guest.
Where's the camera?
Right there.
Where am I?
You're this is my sister.
Hi.
I can attest to the fact that game is amazing.
And you're not.
Much to Michael's dismay, but I feel like that was one of the first ones. I mean, besides the ones we played as kids, like
Sure. Fireball Island. Yeah.
Yes. But recently, and was years ago that you introduced me to it, but I absolutely loved it. Immediate smile. We had such a good time. I used to be really good at it, and now all of a sudden I'm not. But
What about it? What makes it so good?
the actual pan, I think, is the draw.
Like the physical or the
physical
what you're doing with
the
it?
pan. Like you're physically cooking. It feels like you're physically cooking, but it's got the points, and you got to do all the stuff with the gaming stuff,
And the shaking and nothing coming out.
The shaking, nothing coming out is very frustrating. Extremely frustrating, but it's hysterical. It's immediate. We bought it for numerous people. You have many copies that you gave me for other people, but it's a great family game. I think it's a starter for people that don't usually play board games.
Yeah. Are you asking me?
No, I'm just saying. Like, I know it's not like there's strategy still though, because you could, I could screw you and say, give me your
with
stuff.
The dice and the thing. Yeah.
But it's not so in depth that people are just like, I don't want to learn too many things. But I think it's great. I think it's a great game. I just heard you talking about it, and
I thought that would bring it. I thought it would bring you down.
I heard you get a little louder.
I know.
So I thought maybe you wanted me to come down.
Yeah. Not a gamer, but I mean, it's
fantastic.
It is.
Yeah,
and it's super
fun.
frustrating. Like that moment of shaking and nothing
It's
is
very frustrating.
Yeah.
I've many times wanted to throw it across the room. Yes, it's very frustrating. And it's fast. It's not like your whole night is not for this game. Like you can play a couple rounds, and I love it.
There you go.
There you go.
From a non-gamer.
And mine cost me $125.
Oh no, we didn't agree to that.
Yeah, we did.
No, you said no. Actually, you said no. No,
I can actually attest to that. Just for the record, to let her know, I'll back her up on that. So when it comes to Coeur d'Alene,
about the 125.
I'd heard that before moments ago, I think, but I certainly had heard that 125 mentioned at least once already.
Gotcha.
So
okay,
yeah.
That's good. Thanks, Jesse. Really,
you're welcome. You're welcome. I got your back. Don't worry.
I got the first quarter from the Super Bowl, and I told her I'd give her the money if she came on the show. Well, we didn't agree to it. No, stop listening. Go away. All right, so yeah, a la carte. I think it's still out there. They have a dessert expansion that adds more, like a different shaker with different stuff. But the fun in it is trying to get your stuff. I don't know about that, Alan.
Just as you keep saying, you just put your stuff and then you just stuff, and then Alan says that.
Hey, Lauren, we're gonna swap. You're gonna come on the show. I'm gonna go up.
No.
Come on, you're better at describing games than I am. Yeah, I did. No, really, it's in the chat. Like seriously. I swear to God, she's better explaining games than you, Mike.
That's mean.
It's about you. That means you did really well. You should come on the show more often. Okay.
I'll be here.
Yeah, you will. All right. So yeah, a la carte. I know it might be harder to get. I know it was for a while. I think they were doing a reprint. But yeah, it's super fun, and it's one of those games you can teach people that aren't necessarily gamers. Really easy. You have 3 actions. These are the things you do. Go. So yeah, and the quality, the components are awesome.
Very cool. All right, Jesse, you're number 2.
Let's go with a game that is about to arrive to people soon, probably within the next month or so. A little game from Inside Up, which is going to be called Earth. I underestimated Earth drastically when I first saw it. I was thinking like, all right, you're comparing it a bit to Terraforming Mars. You got some really pretty, but clip art, and you're generating resources. How good could it be? And then I sat down and played the prototype of it. And man, if we didn't continue playing the prototype of it far beyond the Kickstarter existing, and now we have a copy in, we're preparing content for when everyone else starts receiving theirs. This is a insanely satisfying, generous board game where the economy feels good. You get to like birth and plant all these little forest, flips across the board. It's point salad in a way. It's tableau building. It's resource management, but it's none of those crunchy elements that make some of the other games, Wingspan and Arc Nova and Terraforming Mars not work for certain players. I have loved showing Earth to people because it's a hard strategic board game that makes you feel like you can play a hard strategic board game. You sit down and you just start doing it, and by the middle of it, people are sitting there having a blast, and by the end of it, they feel like they just did the coolest thing. They feel like they just spent an hour and a half making the most awesome tableau ever. And it has depth to it. Like you can get really strategic with it, you can get really min-max with it, but you can also sit down and just relax and just play through without being too stressed about it. One of the reasons why I love it as well is that it's a game that implements one of the things that I love in board games. Every single person's turn gives every other person a result or an action. Every time someone else takes an action in this game, you are getting some type of kickback, which means for an hour and a half, I am invested in my tableau. I'm playing cards. I'm gaining resources. I'm triggering engines and triggering effects. And it's just pure fun and pure engagement until the game comes to an end. So this is on my list. One of the most anticipated of the last year. And it's on my mind because we've been playing it a lot recently, getting prepared for channel stuff.
You've made me very happy that I backed it.
Nice. Yeah.
It was a total whim too. I didn't even, it was one of those like, oh, what is this? I looked and I had 23 seconds to back before the end of the campaign. And I just went, yeah, it looks good, and backed it. And then started looking at it and go, oh, I'm so glad I did that. And this is the only game I've ever done that to before.
So nice. You experienced the equivalent of like the impulse buy by the cash register when like it's your turn, and then you see something, you're like, do I want it? And then you grab it because it's your, like, you gotta go. That was the Kickstarter equivalent of that.
This Valentine's Day, spend together with someone you love, waiting for it to arrive. Nice. Yeah, I'm sorry that's a little bit ahead in the future. That's part of the consequence of what we do. But it is on my mind, and I am really excited about it. I'm very thrilled to have a final copy in hand.
You got me excited about it.
Cool.
Very cool.
Very cool.
Katia.
I'm gonna keep it with the dexterity games that we were on a streak with. I'm gonna go with Clask.
Oh, that almost in mine.
I haven't seen anybody say, it's not really good. Everybody who tries it loves it. The only downside is the fact that you can't collapse the game and it comes in the size of box. Like basically you have to, it takes room. But it is reminiscent of air hockey, which everybody likes. So the like those little white things that they added to the game, I think is what makes it really good. You're trying to not catch those white little magnets onto your control thing. So you're basically controlling from underneath, and then your stick is on the top, and you're moving it and trying to aim the ball to land into your opponent's circle. But if you accidentally put your own stick into your own circle, then the other person gets a point. But also if you gather those little magnets, those little white magnets onto your stick, after I think you have 2, then you also give your opponent a point. But the thing is that those little white magnets will fling on the board, and you're now trying to like avoid areas where they are because you don't want them to stick to your thing. And so it limits sort of like your movement in a way, because it becomes a risk if you get too close. So I think that's where the game gets really good, is those little things that sit on the table that you're trying not to catch at the same time as, there you go. But yeah, it's really good.
So I want to show something off. Not my version of Clask. So this is Clask.
Yep.
And to Katia's point, it does not break down more than this because those legs are, part of the whole thing.
Ooh.
Something similar?
Ooh.
Very similar. And the legs, I don't know, the legs attach to the bottom of it.
Oh, okay.
Oh my gosh.
So
is that new?
Yeah, and it's hockey themed. So, yes, please. Right?
Nice.
I'm going to revise my suggestion, and I'm going to go with that.
Yeah,
you know what?
But no.
It has the hockey nets in it, right? It's got the goals, but other than
But
that,
I don't know if that hockey game is going to have those magnetic clips that start plining onto your own little piece. There's some creativity to Clask. Well, I would agree. I will put the caveat there. I would selfishly love if it had a modular base as well. But what are you going to do? For a good game, it's worth it.
Yeah.
When Clask came out, when I worked with Breaking Games, we were the ones that sold it at conventions for them. And so while I was trying to show off my game, I would keep breaking off and walking over there and start playing with it real quick. And people come back to my game. Fine, I'll go demo my game and stuff. And I couldn't stop playing with it. So plus these little pieces go flying in a convention. It's fun to try to track them down.
oh yeah.
Yeah. So that's my number 2.
I have it. I have that one.
All right, so my number 2. I was thinking one of the things I love about games is engine builders. Been on my mind a lot lately because of Andromeda's Edge and stuff. So I was thinking, what would I recommend for engine builder? The idea of I do this, which lets me do this, which lets me do this. Now I can do this, and it just builds and builds and builds, and you get those awesome turns. Is Deus?
Oh, I love that game.
Yeah, it's one of those games kind of flew under the radar. I wish it would come back with maybe like brand new art and different stuff or something, or even just the way that it plays. But it was a few years ago, but basically, that's not in English. I don't know what that says. Well, I can basically tell you what happens, but yeah, there you go. That's a great indicator. So when you build a card, you put it there and you get to do whatever its little thing is. But when you build another card of the same color on top, you fire that off and the one below it. And then so the more you build in one area, like these 3 brown cards. You're doing more that kind of thing. But you're also trying to build these temples over here, and you can't build them until you have one of everything. So you're playing this, got to build at least some of everything, but also focus on other stuff. And all of these different colors do different things. Like the boats really let you fire off money and points based on resources. The greens cards give you resources and things like that. And it's also while you're playing with this engine and stuff, you're also putting out putting out buildings and staking claim to certain areas and things like that. So I don't see a lot of people playing it or talking about it ever. So I kind of bring it up every now and then whenever I think about games that I love.
I like it.
It's a good one.
Okay. We're down to number one. Number one. So my number one, I saved because it's peculiar for me to use, but it's a party game.
Wow.
And I haven't heard anybody talk about it really. Mostly because it's kind of like a mass market shelf game. But it's called Double Ditto. Has anybody heard of this game before?
No.
Found it by accident, kind of thing. Started playing it with family. It is basically that's not in English either. Not that it has to be. I just can't explain it if it's not. Trying to find a card here. Okay, there you go. First of all, throw the timer out. House rules. Shut up, Mike.
House rules.
Throw the timer out. You don't need it. It's a party game.
Yeah, you can't bring house rules into this. Come on.
Yeah.
Chris hates him, but he's the first one to talk about him.
Yeah. But for a party game, okay, I can't work with these cards because they're not in English, unfortunately. Maybe that's why it's not talked about a lot. Okay, anyway. The card will say something like, name a popular Halloween outfit. And then everybody has to write down 2 words. And you're trying to match other people. And so it's kind of like the opposite of just one in that way. So you're trying to match other people. If you get 2 matches, you get 3 points. If you get 1 match, you get 1 point. No matches, 0 points. And you do it, I think, 12 times? No, 15 times. 12 or 15 times. And then, add up the points and that's it. It's just a really easy to get into right away. Like I just told you how to play it. Now we can play. Like that's how fast it is. And it feels like it's in the same genre as the Just One or something like that. I don't know why it didn't get picked up and talked about like Just One and things like that, because I think it's about the same time. Actually, it'll tell me whenever it came out. Yeah. What year, right?
Never heard of it.
So does it come with boards?
2015. So it's been. Sorry, what was that?
Does it come with boards and like markers, or are you supposed to write that?
No, you just have this little pad. I was wrong. It's 12 times. Yeah.
Okay.
So you have this little pad. You get these cards, and the card will say something, like I don't know, favorite animals or something like that. And then people will write cow, chicken, trying to match everybody else. Very simple, very easy to do. But we've played the entire thing through so much that we now have to use cards from like Outburst or something because we played the whole deck through. So it's just so easy to get into that.
Never heard of it.
All right.
My number one.
My number one is on the opposite end of the spectrum. Yes. It's sort of like worker placement, tile drafting, tiling, area control, route building, you name it. It's got it all. Mine is Citrus. And it's also a game that is not played enough. It is so good. It is a little bit mean sometimes because people can get a little bit cutthroat in their selection of where they go with their routes. And then you can get blocked off. But hey, that's the game. I really like the drafting of the tiles. Basically, you're having to take an entire row, which I think is why I love the Splendor Duel so much that they came out with, because it has that same kind of like system-ish. But yeah, so the game, first when you lay the board, it looks really dull and ugly because it's all brown, but bear with it because as the game develops, it becomes all pretty with the colored tiles. But basically you are building, like orchards and stuff like that. And it's a worker placement, so you are claiming like a color, basically putting your guy on it. And then when you get your workers back, I believe is when you get paid. And there's like, I don't know, there's bonus tiles and stuff like that throughout the game, like things that get revealed. And you're trying to, the premise is that the areas of color have to connect with the fincas, and you cannot have the same color twice connecting to a finca. So that's where the route building becomes kind of like a bit of a like tricky thing to worm your way to. So it's a little bit, it can get a little bit cutthroat, but it's really, really good. So look it up, buy it, and thank me later.
Do you prefer this over Finca?
I think so, but it's a meatier game. Like this has a little bit more to it. Finca, I love the rondel mechanism of it, but this, I will never say no to playing that. And every time I play games with my friend Kevin, I know he has a copy, I have a copy, and every time I just want to play this game because they love it too. So, I don't know. I think it's brilliant.
Nice.
Cool.
Another good recommendation.
So I'm not sure mine will even be on BGG because it is just a card game. The game that the first game I remember playing, the game that when I was probably 6 and then 7 and then 8 around the holidays, I would stay up a little bit later as my family gathered around the table and played it together late into the night. It's called Head and Foot. You take a stack of cards, a deck of cards for every single person that's sitting around the table and playing. You try your best to count out 21 and pull them into your hand. If you get it, then you win. You get like 50 points or something right away. If you don't, then you got to even out to 21. Or 21 or 22. You split half the deck into your foot. You split half the deck into your hand, and then you organize them all in front of you. From that point on, you're drawing cards either from the discard pile or from the top of the deck. You're adding them into your hand, and you're trying to get a straight run of either all matching suits or mixed sets of numbers and suits. And so the object is to basically build out your hand so you can play all the cards out of your hand and then pick up your foot and then play all the cards out of your foot, which triggers the end of one of the rounds of the game. You score based off of the runs, the straights, and the naturals and unnaturals that you've played down. And then after that, you continue playing round after round until I forget how many rounds there are. There's a certain base number that you have to hit for what you have to be able to earn when you play down cards to start with. And that sets the parameters for what triggers endgame or not. But it's just a lovely little, if you have 4 people, you need 5 decks of cards, you mix them all together. And then you sit around and you can talk, you can laugh. It's got some strategy to it. It has some moments where you get affected by luck and by the draw. And then it has insanely satisfying moments where you have an entire hand and in one fell swoop, you can play everything down, go the whole way into your foot, pick that up, and then realize that you've got like 7 red 3s in there, which are negative 100 points by the end of the game if you still have them in your hand. It's just, for me, when I think about something that I love, I think about that game and sort of sitting around the table and playing that with my grandparents and with my aunts, my uncles, and earning the right and the privilege to stay up until I lost the game. That was a big moment for me. was your bedtime is the moment you lose at Head and Foot.
So it's a push your luck game.
Someone says it's a form of rummy, which I've never played rummy, so I don't know.
Oh, it's really good. I think you would like it based on what you.
Is it a form explained. Of head and foot?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, great. Then it's probably quite charming. Yeah, a lot of those card games have different names that are culturally significant, or like a few rules that are slightly different. My grandfather calls it hoof and mouth or something like that. So it's just one of those. It's just a family game, just a card game. But so a deck of cards. A deck of cards is my last step for something that I love.
Very versatile, right? What you can do with just 52 cards, 54.
Sure. It's amazing.
Jokers.
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing.
Yeah. Fun game, terrible disease. Agreed, Corey. Agreed.
All right, Mike, your number one, please.
All right. I'm going to go with. I know I talk about it a lot, but every time this game comes out, it's in my bag. It's easy to get through. It's easy to wrap your head around. My only gripe is that the person that's being basically the bingo caller doesn't get to see what's left in the tiles, but it's Karuba. So Karuba is a tile laying game where everyone has the same starting positions of their adventures and the temples, and has the same 36 tiles. One player shuffles up the tiles, and then becomes the bingo caller of the game. They'll take the top tile from the stack. Everyone will grab the matching tile. The tiles cannot be rotated. The number has to be placed in the upper left of your board. Your objective is to get the adventurer to the matching colored temple first. If you can do that, you get the biggest treasure that's found in the temple. If you do it at the same time as somebody else, you just equal out the points. But the cool mechanism for me is the choice on what you're going to burn to move. So your adventurers don't move by themselves. You actually burn a tile, and the number of exits on that tile is how many one adventurer can move. So if you want to get the yellow adventurer to start trekking through the forest, come off the beach and start going towards the temple, you got to burn a tile. So if you were to burn that number 11 tile right there, it's got 3 exits. You can move one adventurer 3 spaces, 3 tiles closer to the temple. Along the way, if you look right at the bottom there, right above that 80, there's a diamond. When that tile is placed, if you don't burn it for movement, when the tile is placed, you put a matching gem on it. So in that case, a diamond, or it would be a gold. In order to pick it up, though, you can't just brush by it and grab it as you're walking. You have to stop. So burning the tile for 3 movement, if that diamond is 1 space away, are you going to sacrifice 2 more movement of the tile you've sacrificed in order to pick up 2 points because you know you can't get to the temple in time? Super fun, super easy to get people to start playing. But it's just a fun puzzle to try and figure out how you're going to get 4 adventurers to, in the beach areas, to the matching temples across the jungle. It's super fun.
Cool.
Nice.
And the restriction of not being able to rotate the tiles. Like every tile has to have the number in the upper left. So you can't move. You can create dead ends like they've done there. But there's an optimal move, but the tiles have to come out in your favor in order to get the cross section to get the adventurers moving properly. It's a super fun puzzle that's obviously different every time because the 36 tiles are shuffled every game. So you're never going to have the same ones. And the starting points of the different adventurers will start on different locations. So the puzzle it's always a great puzzle. And it's super well received. So
Nice.
Very nice.
Yeah.
I
All right.
had quickly, very, very quickly, just 2 honorable mentions because I just had to.
course.
But Cascadia and Codename Pictures for me will always be something I recommend to people because it's a hit every time. Yeah.
Go on.
I said it.
Any other games that you were hoping would make it on a list, or you were trying to squeeze on there but couldn't? Mike, Jesse?
There's a game called Mantis Falls, lovely social deduction game, and a game called I'm blanking on the name. Not Mission Control.
Mission Control. Wait a minute.
Not Mission Control.
We do have Tori and Donnie in the chat, who are the designers.
Immediately blanking on the name. So I have the way I took notes is I wrote down the first letter of the ones that I thought of, but that last one's not going to make it on here.
Nice. We'll substitute it with Mission Control. That's a perfect
Mission Control. Mission Control is lovely. If only I owned a copy.
You technically do.
Well, sort of. Yeah, that's true. That's
Mhm.
true.
I mean, you will, so don't worry about it. I had Kingsburg. Lovely. Recently, roll the dice. You put you're trying to influence the court to get the resources you're going to play through, and something's going to attack you at the end. Love the game. Love the way it's always been well received every time I've played it. I haven't played the new edition of it. I have the blue box version, not the new one. And then Run, Fight, or Die. I think it's always hit when I played it with people. It's very Yahtzee, Mission Catastrophe. It's very Yahtzee.
That was what the MC was. Yep.
MC, yeah. You roll the dice. You have a couple re-rolls, and then you're matching up the dice based on the zombies that are coming at you. The way the iconography works is really fluid and simple. At the end of your round, zombies advance. You're trying to get them out of zone 1 before they hit you. Just very, very fun. Has a bunch of extra stuff you can add to it as you go. But that, if you like chucking dice and re-rolling them, Run, Fight, or Die or Kingsburg were my two.
It's
I'm probably
funny
in trouble for not. Oh, sorry. Probably in trouble for not
go
saying
ahead.
that.
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned Mission Catastrophe because Peter was in the comments. And
I know Peter.
then
Peter knows I love Mission Catastrophe. I think it is one of in terms of my my top 10 or top 20 games that, like, if I was going to make a list that was like the most underrated games of all time, Mission Catastrophe is right up there because everyone should know about that game, and yet not enough people do.
Well, and I told him I was very ashamed that I haven't played my copy yet. I have it, and I haven't had a chance to play it.
Oh, don't click on that comment. He told you to shoot.
Ooh, oh, we can drop that other thing. That's good.
If he says it here, it's public.
That's true. That's true.
We don't hide things. But yeah, and then Kingsburg, funny enough, I played it with Daryl. that was who taught me Kingsburg.
Daryl, I need to come up and visit soon, so make sure I play that.
Oh, I see how it is.
Daryl and Adrian are designing a game, and we need to be together in the same country at least.
You're telling me all three of you can't just come visit me in Cleveland instead?
When we're done working on this
soon. Hopefully this year, Quackalope will actually have a studio house and not just a house, which means you could come and work on your classified thing without me around.
Okay.
Just saying. I wouldn't mind Daryl showing up either. Just throwing it out there.
We'll work.
Which convention are you going to show up next? Are you going to Dice Tower West?
No, I don't think so. Our team will be West will be out there for the Mingo will be out there for Gamma. Did
you call him the Mingo?
The Mingo, yeah. The Mingo will be out there for Gamma.
Okay. I just want to make sure I heard that right.
If you know anything about West Todd, he is a large, imposing man with one of the most glorious manes of hair and beards that we've ever seen. He's a full pompadour, and he always wears vibrant flamingo shirts.
Yep.
So he is the Mingo. I think the next convention I will be at is most likely to be something along the lines of Origins or Gen Con. It happens to be that PAX East didn't work out. Dice Tower conventions we haven't really gone to too much. I wouldn't mind going to them at some point, but it's never been kind of high on our list. Gamma is going to be during a week where I will be out in Israel at a yeshiva, so West will be out there representing us for Gamma. And then when we get to the summer, both Essence Feel and UK Games Expo will probably have the Mingo out there as well, because for Shira and I, they both match up against the high holidays like Yom Kippur and Rosh Hashanah, and so it becomes very hard to travel or do anything around those. We want to be here in at home. So,
what about 6 hours away in Syracuse, say September 21st?
I mean, it's certainly possible. I think you've been harassing me about that convention for a while, right?
Yep.
Harassing. I like that word. Yeah.
Gentle reminders.
The other complicated part with conventions is, for instance, if we're going for more of a games convention, like the DC convention's coming up soon, which I used to enjoy going to when I was just a hobbyist in Washington DC. The hard part is a lot of conventions, especially if they run Friday, Saturday, Sunday, run right over top of Shabbat, and so we're not actually at the convention. I don't really play many board games over Shabbat. We usually find like a Chabad group or something like that to go stay with and keep Shabbat by. So even if we go to a convention, Shira and myself, usually it's like a lot of business on Friday, a lot of business on Sunday, and then shut down. And we're not around at all on Saturday, which has positives. It allows us to recharge, and then also has some negatives. Like you don't get to sit around and play games and really kind of just be there hanging out Friday night and drinking and stuff like that. So it's there's backs and forth, but I wouldn't trade it for anything. If anyone's considering just taking a break once a week, it's not a bad idea.
So if the convention was Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, it'd be even better, yeah?
Yeah, because Thursday and Friday work, and then Sunday works.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
You've been bugging me for a while. As long as it hits our calendar, I'd love to come out.
Yeah,
so.
Absolutely. Whether I come out first or you come out first, we'll make it happen.
We'll make it happen. Yeah,
for sure.
Very cool. Well, Jesse, thank you so much for coming along. I think we're going to wrap it up, right?
Sure.
Just make sure I haven't forgotten something that we had on our list or anything, but
I appreciate you guys having me on. This has been fun.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, man. It's great to see you, as always.
Yeah, cool.
In case some weird person has not heard of you but knows us, why don't you tell them where they can find you? And
we are a board game channel that largely focuses on duck-related game content. And so if that's the cross-section that you're interested in, you can search Quackalope on the internet. We exist everywhere except for Twitter, where someone else has our user handle. So don't tag us there.
Wow. The link for your YouTube channel is in our description. I can add more links later if you like.
Cool.
Yeah. Everybody, thanks for playing along.
I have one thing before we end, and then we can call it.
All right, I'll end it right now then. No, I'm kidding.
Could all three, you can do it after the show, I don't care. Could all three of you either look down or close your eyes and don't cheat for a second?
Sure.
Okay.
Whatever you want to do. All right, now I'm going to ask you a simple question. During this show, and Chris, you're not allowed to answer, I just wanted to make you look stupid. How many ducks are behind me?
I think you have 3.
I'm gonna guess 4, but I'm gonna answer honestly and say I didn't notice a single duck.
So your guess is 4.
Very confident 4. Yes, I know. I have a good sense of ducks, or even without noticing them.
Is Yoda a duck?
No, Yoda's not a duck. And no.
Hey, are your eyes closed?
He told me I can't.
Chris already knows. I already talked about it before the show. Evan, no, my ducks are not in a row. They never have been. They probably never will be. Jesse, you can open up your eyes. And you were right. There were 4. So there's one right here on the Costa Rica hat.
Oh, they're so cute. I love them.
There's one right here. And then there's 2 right on Chris's.
Yeah, I see them.
And
they're
one of them is
flips.
actually, one of them is yours. It says Quackalope on the bottom.
Yeah,
both
nice.
of them are yours. One of them is actually written from the thing you did at Gen Con last year.
Oh, where are all my duck stuff?
Also, stop doing this, you shit. Thanks.
Showing your ducks.
Thanks.
I do like the ducks. Nice. I'm not only ambiently proud that I guessed 4 for no reason. It's like getting an extra $100 in Monopoly. You feel like you deserve it. I feel like I somehow spoke that into existence.
They spoke to you.
And also, I think the Gen Con thing, for the record, went really well. We got like 150, 160 brand new subscribers from that, despite the fact that we lost about 400 good, faithful ducks in the process.
Yeah, that was it was sad to see happen, but miscommunication, right?
The year before, I tried to call Gen Con to get a hold of them multiple times about setting some stuff up around the fact that the convention was on top of some Jewish holidays. Never once received a call back. So everyone that says I should reach out to them, I agree, and I did.
That's
good. Yeah, it was weird when that happened. When someone had taken it off the table, like, no, okay, whatever. You really wanted a duck, but then it started like it was red flags.
I think the issue we set them all out the night before because we wanted to be ahead of the curve. If we just done what we normally do, which is walk around and smile at people and talk to Pooths and hand them ducks because they want the ducks around, it wouldn't have been a problem. So I genuinely had absolutely no problem with Gen Con's decision in that. I think as far as guerrilla marketing schemes go, it was both the right call for Gen Con to remove the random ducks popping up all over the place and also still worked very well for Quackalope.
Sure. No, it's good. That brought you more people.
Yeah, it did well. We like experimenting and being weird and trying our best to push the bounds. And every now and then, or not every now and then, sometimes people will be like, oh, well, we don't like him because he quacks a lot and walks around in a duck suit. Oh, thanks, Portland.
I mean, the duck suit I haven't experienced yet, but you are super fun to talk to. As I said at the top of the show, I love talking with you. I love being around you. Thank you for what you do for the hobby. I can't imagine the hours that you put in to do all the shit that you do. It's massive, but you have a lot of stuff that you do. So
thank you. I appreciate that.
Amen.
Appreciate that. And for the record, this has been fantastic. I can't wait to get back in contact with all of you, and I desperately want all of you to come down to Cleveland and visit. So let me know. Katia, seriously, Shira, when she's back here full time, will bug me non-incessantly until you come down and hang out with us. So I'm just establishing that ground rule now. Thanks for having me, guys.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Thanks
Jess,
for-
great, man. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, everybody. Good night.
Daryl's down for a
Have a
Cleveland
good
road
night.
trip. I like it.
Man.
We'll see y'all. Goodbye.
Bye.